when you let go, I want you to be looking into my eyes. And I was like, Joe, when I let go, I'm going to try to look into your eyes. But are you a strong catcher? And Joe, the weight I bring to this is something I'm not sure you're used to. Everybody seems so much smaller than me. And he's like, don't worry. I can handle it. You're not too big for me.
Grown-up human comic people. Grown-up human comic people.
All right, so welcome to the
We're
show.
grown-up human comic people.
Yeah, we're grown-up human comic people. Fuck, I said that was really too fast, man. Yeah, every time. I'm already kind of fucked up, actually.
That's good.
Yeah. Anyway, so welcome to the show. We'll introduce everybody. We'll introduce us first, and then we'll get you guys. We have some special guests here today. So we traditionally start to my left, so we'll go from Greg to here, and then there. So we got to my left. Say your name.
Chris.
In Jer.
This is Greg speaking.
And this is Daniel.
I'm Jared. We are grown-up human comic people, and we have three special guests. Want to start?
Lou.
Brian. Colt.
And you guys are from
Pittsburgh Retro Gaming.
Yep. Yeah, we've been playing some old school video games here for a few minutes, and having a good time. So we're going to talk about all that kind of shit here. So you can find us at on iTunes, YouTube, Player FM, Facebook, Tumblr at Grown Up Human Comic People, and then Instagram and Twitter at Grown Up Humans. We don't have other Dan here. Oh, so I just called him Other Dan. We don't have Dan. You're Dan.
Dan, I'm Daniel.
You're Daniel.
There's no other Dan.
There's no other Dan. We don't have Dan here, so we can't do shop talk. But we'll do what Chin's doing. We can just quickly.
Well, I want to give Brian a chance now, or give these guys a chance to. Oh, okay.
I got
We're patient people.
Yeah, seriously.
We waited 20 years for our hobby to become vogue.
Wait
Fair enough.
6 minutes.
I just thought we were doing where to find us.
No, because we're going to go from that into the books.
Okay,
So
all right.
because they all read some of the books. Anyway, after that interruption,
We got an editing room.
what Chin's doing? Anybody who wants to go?
I'll start.
All right, Jerry.
I seen Brew House.
Oh, shit.
I would say to anybody else seen it, but it was like a special, like nobody's seen it yet.
It was a private screening, and I got to remind, because so it was just like cast, crew, whoever was involved in making it, had like a download for it or a stream or whatever. So yeah, but continue.
Why don't you give these guys a background?
Where'd you see it?
I seen it here because Greg had the special whatever for it because Greg starred
the link.
and Greg I knew Greg was in it, but I didn't know Greg is in it.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
like the second to last person to die.
This motherfucker right here, I would be, because I lived in the brew house where they shot that movie, and I would see him, and he'd be all like fucking acted up. And I feel like he was like a little too cool for me then. Like I would cruise up, and he was like, oh, hey. I'm like, fuck you, Greg. I know you. He was like too cool for school. It's like walking in and.
You don't fuck with actors on the set, man.
Yo, I fucked with. I was about to blow up two people's spots. Yeah, fuck them. Yeah, like I fuck with two of the actors. Whatever.
Oh shit! I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys are
never
talking
mind.
about.
Yeah, you do. I think we.
Okay,
we just probably got-
later's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Brew House was a film that was shot in the brew house down the south side before it turned into luxury asshole apartments.
Shipatan.
Yeah, Shipatown. Yeah.
Yeah, she fun.
High end living.
Soto Sopa. Welcome home.
Poor cunts.
Yes. And Greg was in it, so it's like a indie horror movie.
Yeah,
Found footage.
Because it was the two of you guys that came by. Well, I saw Daniel more than once, but you guys came to. We think we were like eating lunch or something at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
whenever you stop by the one time. But yeah, at any given lunchtime, like one of us would have our death makeup on from what we just shot previously, and I don't know.
What was your name? Brian?
Brian Wells, in fact.
Brian Wells.
Yeah. So let's think about that one for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a year ago that we filmed the last scene for it, so it had a lot of post stuff that they had to do, which looked pretty good.
Yeah, the production was pretty good.
I thought it was good. I mean, it's the sort of thing that like you might see on Netflix. Like if you're just like you get like to the deep part of Netflix where you're like no, what the fuck is this? Okay, like that,
like zombies.
Yeah.
The drunken
zombie
part of
beavers.
Netflix.
Yeah.
The breakup part of Netflix.
It's just like the marathon binge. It's like I have more self-respect typically, but I won't have to say
Netflix and get the fuck out.
right.
Yeah, who all was here when we saw that? It was you. It was Jared, myself. Jared was here.
Jason was here. Monkey
was here. Trevor was here. Yeah, that's right. Trevor had just got back because we were trying to guess his porn passwords on his computer before it didn't work though. So Monkey had to go get his own computer. Oh my gosh! But,
it did take us like an hour to watch that movie.
So
just saying, those guys back there playing X-Men are bad at it. X-Men 2.
That game is terribly unforgiving. I mean, I don't know that I've ever made it past that screen. So.
It's hard to time the jumping, man. It's real hard.
And Wolverine with the non-replenishing health with his animated
That's bullshit.
out. Absolute bullshit. No faith to the source material.
So what? Who else? Which one's doing?
Greg didn't talk about
Greg?
I didn't. I know. I guess that's true. So, well, one thing is that although, hey, if you're listening, you can't find the movie right now. So, stay tuned for another year or whatever that is. Although I did around the same time, just before Brewhouse, there was another. I'm not normally this active at all, but there was another movie that I was on crew for that is. It was like another super low budget. I can't gauge how good it is, much like Brewhouse or anything, but it's on Amazon Prime right now. Oh, yeah.
Why haven't we watched that yet?
I'm sure no one has because it's for $2.99 rental. But anyway, that one's called Doppelganger. I did audio on set for that.
And you didn't even watch it.
I watched the last work print of it because I was doing like not only the production audio but also the audio mixing afterwards, and that much like anyone who makes a movie and gets you to work for free on it and says like, oh yeah, you'll get a copy of it. I don't have a copy of it, so thanks a lot, Elwood. But yeah, so that one's on there. There was, although I guess I should be proud to say that there was one scene we were filming a poker game scene, and one guy didn't show up, so I ended up being one of the poker players.
Oh, you're in it
for this
too.
thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
You still didn't watch it.
And the audio suffers because it's we gave it to the PA girl. Actually, that girl Jen that you pointed out at Brewhouse, but so the audio kind of is a little iffy on that scene. But anyway, so that's not that I'm doing anything. That's something that I did like a year ago. But
what's something people can also consume that. If
they could consume
choose.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to see Greg, go to Amazon Prime.
And the movie's called Doppelganger.
Doppelganger. Yeah.
You're welcome, Elwood.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a great fucking name for a movie.
Yeah.
I feel like the USA Network had a movie also titled Doppelganger back in the 90s. Was it with Drew Barrymore?
Than that, yeah, I think.
Dude, it was fucking killer. I watched that movie 9 Saturdays in my life.
Yeah,
because it used to come on Saturdays
It was
around
her and
noon or
and
1.
And then there was like a dark, because she was blonde in the movie, but then there was like a black haired version of her, right?
Maybe but there was more than one doppelganger.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, that's different.
Okay.
This is like a USA Network special.
Okay.
It was good. I don't know if it was about doppelgangers, but it might not have. It's what introduced me to the idea of doppelganger. I thought this was fact after that.
I don't know what the Drew Barrymore movie's about. I know that this kid Elwood took the title from a Franz Schubert song because he was in music school with me. So the song, the translation is something like a guy comes home to, he thinks he's coming home to his wife, to his family, but then as he approaches his house, he looks up in the window and sees himself there.
Oh, so it's like
he can't
the
get into
Sixth
the house.
Day?
What's that?
Six Day Arnold? Arnold Schwarzenegger
Oh,
movie?
oh yeah. Oh crap. I
He's
didn't
eating
even
my
think of
cookies with my family.
that. Much more classical reference. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that movie. You don't have to go.
What am I doing?
Yeah, if you're doing anything interesting.
closer here.
Yeah, get to the mic.
Just in general?
Yeah, and just like some brief. Tell us what you're doing.
Any movies you saw or anything cool?
Yeah, if you're involved in anything cool.
My band's writing
Grey
a new album
Walker.
right now.
There you go. Tell us about it.
Grey Walker.
Plug yourself. Grey Walker.
And we are in the process of writing our second album,
Nice.
which is pretty exciting.
Nice.
And preparing for some sweet shows coming up and some really awesome things, actually,
Cool.
in the future that I don't know if I can talk about yet, but it's going to be sweet. Just look up Grey Walker with an E.
Can you talk about what Grey Walker means?
Grey Walker means? Well, I wasn't
Yeah,
the one
like-
that came up with the term Grey Walker, but it's kind of like a raise the dead kind of thing, you know? You get like
okay.
a Grey Walker that's just like a being that it was dead once but now is alive, like, you know, zombie but not quite zombie.
Right.
Like
Less
a
cranberries.
lich.
Yeah, it's just a different way to say zombie.
Okay. All right, cool.
I guess.
Violating any copyrights.
Yeah, without violating.
I'm going to interject here and say, Brian Howe, we're name checking your band, so you have to like this when I quote you on Facebook, you asshole.
Yeah, fucking Brian. You heard what he said.
Everybody else say Brian Howe.
Brian Howe.
Brian Howe.
I don't
Brian
know.
Howe.
Also say Sykes. Sykes.
Sykes.
Sykes.
I'm not
You
saying
dick.
anything. I could be incanting a demon. I'm not saying any of this.
I didn't see any
I
ghost blood
mean,
when I
it
walked
could
in.
be, you know, a demon that goes in your mouth and gives you bacterial VD from above.
I never support any of his shit, and I feel bad because he's a friend of mine, and that's the lead singer of his band. And I'm always like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm not going to like any of your shit that you tell me to promote on Facebook.
Why?
Because I don't do that. I don't support anything on Facebook.
You just complain and tell ridiculous stories.
Yeah, and
And put a post about moving in with your girlfriend, big life events, you know,
Oh,
really
yeah.
important things.
yeah. Facebook is shitty. Everything about it is shitty, and everything I do on Facebook is shitty.
We have
Wait
an
a minute, wait a minute. You just
we have an
said
alternative.
Moving in with the love of your life is shitty?
Everything's terrible.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with Chris's ailments, but everything is terrible.
Yeah, fair. That's
Everything
fair.
is terrible. I just look forward to this sweet, sweet kiss of death.
Chris once shat from his mouth.
Oh.
That's a story we'll get
Wait,
to
true story?
at some point. Oh yeah.
You puked shit?
Yeah.
Whose asshole were you
Shit
eating?
if you puke it?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, if it works its way back up from, like, your lower intestine, comes out of your...
Does that really happen, though?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were just
We're not
running the
joking at
wrong
all,
person.
actually.
Really?
Yeah.
I've seen some horrible things in my life, and that sounds like it's way worse than most of the things I've seen in my life.
You've seen some horrible shit. You should have smelled it.
Oh, I've smelled some pretty awful, but I'm sure that's probably up there.
Wait, it was medically verified that it was actually shit
I looked it
that
up
you
actually
puked.
once.
I feel
yeah,
like I've
possible.
seen this in my life before, but I blocked it out. I just have this fucked up rush of memories.
I'll tell you what. Nobody actually believed the story when it happened except the people that witnessed it. And then there was a House episode where somebody literally threw up turds. And people were like, I remember you telling me that story.
Yeah,
Did
my
you-
repressed thoughts believe
Were they full turds? Were they like fully formed turds?
No, it's like
That'd be funny. It was like...
Like a low fiber diet.
Like in software.
no, yeah, Dairy Queen soft serve. That's
Okay.
Well, that's worse. That's worse.
yeah.
Yeah, right.
I've
How
got
do
this.
you get rid of that flavor?
No, that's not worse because
Lots
like
of
if it was like a hard one, you'd be like, you have to really.
Yeah.
Nah,
Yeah, if my butt muscles
choke it up.
like
struggle
a
with that.
Mr. Clean
you know.
coming out of your throat.
Yeah, that'd be bad.
How do you wipe that?
Very carefully.
Remember we were talking about eating butthole earlier? Yeah,
This is worse than that.
This is worse than that, yeah.
it's way worse than that.
yeah.
Okay. So I don't know how we got there, but what Jim's doing?
I don't know if I could top that. A lot of work and a lot of watching Stranger Things.
Oh, it's
So good.
4 stars. 4 stars.
It's amazing.
I've actually finished it and started rewatching it.
Good for you.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
it's phenomenal. But
I feel so bad
Yeah.
about Barb.
yeah, she never had a chance.
I know, man.
You know,
Like,
why couldn't
not even
she-
close.
A swimming pool of all places.
Yeah.
Like, why'd that have to be? Yeah, I mean, come on, give her a chance to run. At least let her trip over a tree branch.
Yeah.
You know, but
Something.
At least like her the person who had sex at least before they died. Like that's,
They broke the cliche.
They twisted that. Yeah,
because usually that's the death knell right there.
It's even because at least then you're like, well, at least they got to have sex right before they died.
Yeah.
Barb didn't do any of that.
She
arguably
cut the shaft and not get the shaft.
Right.
Yeah.
Like presumably she's never had sex.
I would.
And then she got
agree with you,
eaten by the troglodyte, or the whatever it is.
Demigorgon.
Demigorgon, that's what it is.
She couldn't
I'm a
even
D&D
open a
nerd.
beer. She couldn't shotgun a beer without cutting her hand. She's
She's
Right.
definitely a virgin.
Yeah, it's
you're right.
fucking awful.
It's like a total virgin move. Like, try to shotgun a beer, slice your hand open.
You definitely never fucked, idiot.
I mean, those glasses. Come on.
Man, her
And
glasses.
the collar, the frilly collar.
God.
It's like, this is not Tudors.
Her glasses were definitely a callback to the Goonies, though. The one with the glasses in the Goonies. That's
For sure.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
As I pointed out before, and I've regrettably I haven't looked up the actress since then, since I mentioned it. But I was shown a picture of the actress who plays Barb, and she's like not uglied up, pretty dang good looking.
Yeah.
Of course she is.
I gotta look it up though, because
Honestly, nothing about her character compelled me to want to look her up.
no, right.
Aside-
That's why I had to specify. I was shown a picture of her, and I was like, oh, okay.
No, man. Like because it occurred to me that like maybe at some point like they were gonna pool that like 80s 90s thing where she would turn into like the sexy heroine who's like loses the glasses, gets fucked, or she doesn't get fucked, she fucks. Like she wouldn't be getting fucked, she fucks.
She fucks dick
and
up.
then she kills the Demigorgon or something.
And a great way to hide that is that the lower sternum high denim jeans. I mean, not navel high, lower sternum.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. That's actually. I'm glad you reminded me. I'm gonna write that down because that's something in our fucking segment next episode. I'm gonna go ahead and do that.
What are you going to do?
We'll get there.
The mom jeans with the diaper underneath.
We'll get there.
Yeah. She was definitely, there was definitely depends on.
Holy shit. Are you fucking kidding me? This is her. So right now I just looked up a picture of her. She's like hot.
Yeah.
Like
Confirmed hot.
she's like, but not hot in the way that like
Her eyes are still a little bit far apart.
sure,
No,
but
she's
I mean
very-
she
she's
might
very
be
attractive.
English, so it's hard to say. She's really
Low vitamin
However-
D,
however,
low
her-
UV.
yeah.
Her value isn't based on whether she's attractive or not. She actually did a great job. Playing Barb.
Yeah, I mean, everyone in that.
Yeah.
I don't even want to call it a show. I
feel
mean,
like that was
everyone
an
in that
apologist.
film was extremely high quality, from the kids all the way up to
Absolutely,
the
yeah.
adults.
If they
It's
came out with
amazing.
an 8-hour movie of that, I would have sat through 8
Definitely.
hours of that.
You did.
I
It
almost did. I probably watched half and then half. But yeah.
Yeah, I sat through
2
a solid
nights.
5 hours, then took like a 15-minute break.
The only I didn't have time to mention it the last time. The only two misgivings that I have about it are one, and I'm sure everybody probably feels the same way, is whenever they're at Terry Ives' house and the sister says, like, oh, she says she has powers, and those two are like Hop and Winona Ryder are like, what kind of powers? Like telepathy, and then it shows flashbacks of stuff that we've seen, and it's just that kind of. I wouldn't be watching this episode if I hadn't already seen that content in another episode. Like it's Netflix. It's not like I missed it on commercial television.
Right.
My memory's not that short. I really wish they hadn't done that. That, and I think that the kid who plays Lucas overacts a little bit, but that's it.
Which one's Lucas?
Yeah.
The black kid.
Oh yeah.
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 You don't have
like
to look
him.
down when you say that, Greg. It's just an identifying character.
He's the black kid.
But
You
who
who
doesn't-
the rich kid? He's the rich kid too.
Who doesn't love Toothless though?
Toothless is great.
Yeah, Toothless is
Oh,
fantastic.
Toothless is like the gem of the show, I think.
Yeah.
Between him and 11, it's hard to choose, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
A peanut gallery.
He's a mixture between Chunk and I'm trying to think of another 80s like a helpful 80s because he's like a child character because he is helpful a lot of the time.
I feel like he's
the
more
voice
like
of
Vern.
reason.
He's not as competent as Chunk was, but he's.
Really, I think he's more competent than Chunk.
That's what I'm saying. He's not as incompetent.
Oh, incompetent. Okay,
Yeah. He's very competent, which
Yeah.
is where he diverges from Chunk. Absolutely.
Yeah. In fact, I say he's like the Samwise Gamgee of this.
Yeah, that's a fair.
Because towards the end, he's like, guys, stop fighting. Like, we can't do anything here if you guys are at each other's throats. So, like, you go fucking say sorry.
But like Vern from Stand By Me.
Yeah.
You know, like
Jerry O'Connell's character.
I'm not sure. Yeah, he was the chubby one.
Yeah.
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 Brings the comb, but he doesn't have any hair.
Yeah.
Like, Vern, what you bring a comb for? You don't have any fucking hair. Like, forgot the food, you brought the comb.
Right. Whereas he's like, she's our friend and she's fucking crazy.
One of the cooler things I read about it is that the actress that played 11, she was really reserved about shaving her head for this, which she did. She shaved her head, and she was like, everyone's going to think I'm ugly. And they actually, the producers, and what are their names? The brothers?
Duffer Brothers.
Duffer Brothers.
Yeah. Duffer Brothers, yeah.
They're twins.
And they were like, you know what? That's a legitimate concern. We want you to watch Mad Max Fury Road.
Awesome.
And that's when she decided that she was going to take the role.
Yeah.
And I was
phenomenal movie, too.
Yeah. It's just absolute stellar. And that is so awesome. And I love it because 11 is such a great female role model. We don't get that a lot in this genre.
You're right.
We don't. And, that's something I think that is important. It's not important to harp on. It just should be something that should be more renowned. We should have better female role models in this genre. And that's a great way of showing that. That and in Mad Max. It was really cool.
That's why I grew up to embrace my manhood, is because I had no good female role models. And so if I had more female role models, who knows? All those years of my sister dressing me up like my mother might have stuck. I just had nobody good to follow.
So. I was going to say, is that a stab at your family? I thought
wow. I just realized that I have 3 great sisters and a wonderful mother. Y'all could have been stronger.
Did I just turn into Freud? Is that what happened?
Right. No, I was just making it.
Anyway, Stranger Things.
Lou, sorry. What Chin's doing?
Yeah.
See, I just got back from London like 3-4 weeks ago from Star Wars Celebration.
Nice.
That sounds awful.
Yeah. It was weird, man. No, yeah. Me and a bunch of people I'm on a tattooing team with, we all tattoo at every Star Wars Celebration and stuff, so
nice.
We were just doing that pretty much. It was...
That's cool. What's the weirdest thing you tattooed on somebody?
I don't really tattoo. Well, this year I didn't really tattoo anything out of the ordinary. I just tattooed portraits and stuff like that. I did a Kylo Ren, a Rey, and my other client's gonna be pissed. I don't remember what the other one was.
What's the most obscure character you've ever had a tattoo? A Star Wars
obscure
character. Because I love Star Wars. So
I did the trash compactor Dianoga. It's a little thing that sticks out of the water, looks around. Yeah, that's pretty obscure, I would say.
Okay.
Where on their body did they have it?
It was on his leg. It's just a bunch of random characters got all over his leg.
Okay,
that's cool.
Lou's he's a licensed Marvel and LucasArts artist.
I am licensed.
Wow,
it's pretty cool.
So wait, did the Kylo Ren? Did they get the what the fuck is that actor's name? Who did
Adam Driver? No, they don't have weird Adam Driver.
Nobody wants his face on there.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, please tell me that they got the fucking.
I came to this conclusion the other day that whatever species Adam Driver is, Michael Phelps and Bernardine Cucumber are the same species.
Holy shit, that's really good.
I was watching the Olympics. I had just seen Star Wars the other day, and it just all started clicking. Doctor Strange trailer, and it all made sense.
Tall dudes with humongous beaks,
ears, and mouths.
They're like bird people.
They're they could probably hear and taste more than we do.
Their jaws can unhinge to take giant chunks out of your body.
Michael Phelps just drinks the pool water. That's how he gets to it.
That's hilarious to think about. He does it so quickly. He consumes it all and then runs the other end and fills the pool back up, and then
nobody notices it.
It's all within just a little piece of a stroke, and it's just and it's so fast they're suspended there, and he
and the rest of them are actually swimming in his excretion.
His own enema.
It would only be right.
Fuck, well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Star Wars Celebration was pretty cool. We got to the coolest part was we got this there's like a bunch of drones you can fly around and stuff, and people like will all fly drones around against each other, and like there's like different places. One was the Death Star scene where you're going through the trench, and the other one was Endor and stuff. But we got to sit in the middle of the entire arena while everybody flew like what's it called drones around our heads and stuff, and they played.
Really awesome.
You weren't afraid they're gonna fucking crash?
Oh, we were terrified. My friend Brandy's hair got almost caught in like
man
and stuff. And
Like, this is not safe.
They're like, don't look directly in the lasers, but the lasers are coming right in our eyes. So like, what am I gonna do? Not look at the laser? What am I paying for at this point? No.
Wait, you had to pay to sit in the middle?
Oh no, we didn't really.
Oh, were there other people who paid to sit in the middle?
No, you just stand in like a 1 billion person line. So what you're paying is like your life.
Yeah, that's
So it was expensive.
It was expensive in terms of like 7 hours. That's got to be like $10.
Yeah.
That's
or if you're Chris, $0.
Yeah.
Zero. The only thing worth anything is the sweet slumber of death.
Yes.
which is also $10.
That'd be really funny if you came by and you were like, "Finally, dude, where you been?" And he's like, "That's going to be $10." What? I don't have cash on me. He's like, "I only take cash. I'm sorry, or personal checks."
I honestly can't tell you how upset I'd be if the Grim Reaper finally came to me and was like, I need $10 in order for you to die. I'd be like, no, absolutely not. I'm guaranteed this from birth. You give this to me right now.
That's actually how it works every time.
Right.
I write you an
You eat butt now. You eat butt now.
Eat butt now!
My butt, no, you eat it.
Oh, fuck. Dude, if the Grim Reaper comes back as some, like, Laotian fucking prison guard and makes you eat his butt, but now! Eat my butt! Eat butt now!
Can you
Fuck that.
Can you imagine eating the Grim Reaper's butt? It has to be like licking a Lego man's back behind.
Just flat.
With old
random
dog
holes.
bones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if he makes everybody lick his butt, then it would be eroded.
It's just slick, smooth.
It's like the equivalent of what my German Shepherd's elk antler is right now. After about a month of use.
On top of which,
Accurate.
how old is the Grim Reaper? That's old man butt times what? Really?
He probably doesn't have a butt anymore.
No.
It's like most people's butts fall off at like
like the
90
cliffs
at the
of
latest,
Dover.
right? So
Yeah.
He's got
in
different resources
in
than we have. He gets
18
it
or,
replaced.
like maybe like 23, like post college at the earliest. So like 22, 23, like no more butt. So all you have is like a weird stink hole at the top and like
Ugh.
2 fleshy shafts.
Grim Reaper doesn't. He doesn't even have flesh.
No, there's no. The Grim Reaper doesn't have a butthole.
Yeah, it's more like an imperial trash chute.
I was actually thinking the sandworm scene in Beetlejuice. Like
probably
that's just his
accurate, too, yeah.
entire ass.
I was going to say that the robe is probably what you have to get past. Like that robe probably smells.
Oh, imagine that.
heavy.
It's heavy.
old,
Yeah, it's,
made of
he's
like
sweating and shit. And that he sweated for like a long time. And he didn't sweat anymore because he's lost all his skin.
yeah.
And it's just like rubbing against bone and shit. It's all. Yeah.
It smells like a hockey glove.
Yeah, like 10,000.
Moral of the story, Chris: make sure you always have $10 on you.
Yeah.
At least.
No
Holy shit.
You don't want
And
Grim Reaper face
Lou's a
mask.
tattoo artist. I think what we should do is we should all get like $10 tattooed like somewhere on our body so when the Grim Reaper comes for us, we
You
can
rip
pay
it
him.
straight off.
Be like, dude, psh, I got you. He's like, fuck, I mean, that is $10.
That's $10, yeah.
Fuck the
Argue
pennies
with
on
that,
the
I didn't make
eyes.
The rules.
Yeah.
So what Jin's been doing?
So I just got back from Seattle, literally less than, well, it was about 15 hours ago at this point. And it was one of those trips where it was amazing, but it was different. It was so different from what I had anticipated that my initial response was to maybe label it bad. You know, because like I set out thinking it was going to be a certain way, and it wasn't anything like the way I anticipated it. And so at first I was like, this is bad. This isn't good. This is bad. This is a bad trip. And then I realized, no, like this is fucking amazing. This is an incredible trip. Just different from what I anticipated. And so I learned how to trapeze. I think I'm going to, or to to be on a trapeze, to be a person who...
A trapeze artist.
A trapeze artist.
I saw the video.
You join the circus.
Dude, I
Always,
like,
since high school.
seriously, I swear to God, I fucking transferred into this man's arm. So, like, you're on a trapeze, and, like, I was dangling by my knees, and we're, like, high up above the ground, and I'm swinging, and I get the call to let go of my legs, and I let go of my legs and just, like, fly through the air, and then connect with this dude's arms, and we're looking at each other in the eyes. He's upside down, and I was like, in this moment, I love you. Like, this is, everything has brought me to this moment, and I'm so glad that I made every decision in my life.
Unfortunately, he doesn't know you have VD in your mouth.
Fortunately, he doesn't know I have demon VD in my mouth that I'm going to get looked at.
I want everybody...
By a priest tomorrow.
I want everybody listening to this right now to imagine what Dan just said as Creed lyrics. It's magical.
A look in his eyes has caught my hand.
Trapeze.
In that moment,
That's all I have.
I love him.
Let go with my legs. Caught onto his arm.
No, but it was crazy because, like, I mean, it's fucking scary, man. Like, you got to climb up this ladder, and you're, like, probably, like, 20-something feet in the air, like 25, like, close to 30. Yeah, it's scary as shit, and you're on a little ladder. And, like, the first, like, whatever, dozen times you go up there, like, you're just swinging, and, like, you just have to put your knees on this thing, and then, like, whatever, you fall into this net. But, like, the last time, they tell you, like, you got to let go with your legs, and, like, before this dude grabs you, so, like, you're just floating, like, for a few, like, a fraction of a second. You're floating through the air, and this dude grabs you, and you grab him, and then you just swing back and forth. I mean, it happened to be a dude this time. There's probably chicks who catch people, too.
No.
Psych!
It's a stupid thing to say.
That's ridiculous. See a man of my girth. And so, like, the last time I went up there, and this dude, Joe, big shout out to you, Emerald City, Circus Arts, good looking out, man. Like, for the first few times, like, he was up there, and he was the one who was, like, preparing me to, like, get on this trap. And then he became the catcher. And then he became the catcher.
And then
So that's the end of the story there.
Joe and I stayed in touch. We exchanged Instagram accounts, and we've been private messaging each other with Wicker. And he
Swipe to the right.
He has 4 pictures that were 2 minutes long of my beehole and my nuggets.
I have no idea what's going on anymore.
So no, but he's been like so encouraging because it's a scary thing, you know. And I would climb back up the ladder, and he'd be like, "You did really great the last time. Like, great job, you know, like whatever." And he's giving you like little pointers, and he's like, and so we're developing, like, we're building this like relationship. And then the last time, he's catching me. and I fly through the air, and I let go with my legs, and I grabbed his arms, and you have to be like looking back. He's like he makes it very clear, like you have to look back, like you have to look me in the eyes when you let go.
It sounds very intimate.
It only gets more intimate. So he's like, you gotta look into my eyes. Like when you let go, I want you to be looking into my eyes. And I was like, Joe, when I let go, I'm gonna try to look into your eyes. But are you a strong catcher? And Joe, the weight I bring to this is something I'm not sure you're used to. Everybody seems so much smaller than me. And he's like, don't worry. I can handle it. You're not too big for me. So
I'm glad that you prefaced this with how you wish there were stronger female role models.
And I chose male by default just because there weren't other ones.
You were more comfortable.
And so, like, and this is like no bullshit. Like, I let go, he caught me, and we were like looking in each other's eyes, and I really felt like he was so proud of me. Like he loved me. In that moment, I was like, yes, Joe, we did this together. We did this. We completed.
Now you're doing
We came. No, actually, that was not even intentional. I just realized how sexual explaining a trapeze experience can become.
Just now?
Not just now.
Okay.
I mean, about a minute ago.
Laughing at you, yeah.
But it was great. So that's what I've been up to. And
that's awesome.
I'm just saying, man, sexuality is a spectrum. Trapeze art is a spectrum.
Taylor, that's awesome.
Would you say spectrum? Would you say climax?
The climax of that experience, we were.
You said you both completed, so that's good.
Yeah. No. Well, wait. Yes. Yes.
We're very.
It takes two.
We're very happy that you had this new experience and that you're proud of it. It's not for everybody. So,
It's not for everybody because some people are too big. I think Joe would agree that some people are too big.
Boku.
Yeah. For some people, as we all know, it's a choice.
yes. Yes.
It's not always a choice. Sometimes.
Yeah, I know.
Sometimes
it's not a choice.
Sometimes God compels you
To get on the trapeze.
to get on that trapeze and to be with Joe. Wasn't a choice at that moment. I swung out
With his arms wide open.
arms wide open.
Under the sunlight.
So what Chin's doing, bud? That's pretty much it. So I was on a trapeze.
Yeah, cool.
Thanks for listening.
I just want to say, Dan told me this story on the way over here. This is exactly how he described it to me. Yeah, I think I'm going to be a trapeze artist. I think that's my calling in life. And I said, okay. He said, yeah. Take a look at this video. And I said, yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
He's already got
That
the
was
pants
the
for
that
it.
was
I've
the
seen
end of the
pictures.
conversation, though. So when he says that he realized it was sexual like a minute ago, that's accurate. There was none of this like I had Herbal Essences commercial visuals that he had going on here, or sensual touches. He was just like, yeah, man, I'm just big dicking it as an acrobat. That's it.
No, none of that. The majority of that was not intentional. I just let it go, and it was just like moments before those words left my mouth. I realized this sounds like I'm having sex.
Yeah, it's 50 Shades of Acrobats.
Like this sounds like but there's no other way to.
Someone's going to
describe
jerk off to that. I'm just going to let you know.
Someone might jerk off to that.
I hope so.
Someone
should probably
definitely
charge
jerking
for
off
this
to that.
podcast.
No, if you jerk off to that story,
This episode is
that,
also
I
available
feel like that
on
validates my
Pornhub.com.
experience even more.
Just leave us a comment.
Yeah, leave us a comment. Tell us how you jerked
Tell
off.
us how good it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all we want. Like a rate and review on iTunes. There you go.
Yeah, give us a good review. Give us like 4 stars at least.
Yeah,
if you jerked off to it.
You could just say, I came.
Hashtag what I jerked off to this summer.
There you go.
iClimax.com.
That's a good new hashtag.
What I jerked off to this summer.
Oh, fuck. That is a
excellent.
great new hashtag. Let's see if that exists. I'm going to wait till after you're done saying what Chin's doing. What Chin's been doing.
I have been playing entirely too much Pokemon Go.
I know. In my presence.
The game itself is not good. Niantic, if you're listening, fuck you. But the things you get involved in are really fucking weird and cool. Like, I was downtown and I noticed that there were...
Yeah, like 2 in the morning.
Yeah, I was downtown at like 3 in the
that?
morning. Well, because there's a bunch of stops down there, and I hate like driving around a bunch of people. So 3 o'clock seemed like a good time to go down.
Were you in Point State Park at 4 a.m.?
No, I was across the river. Yeah, in North Side.
Just make sure.
Yeah,
because
that
I see
wasn't me.
people walking around like
Yeah.
a chain of ducklings.
Oh, yeah.
It's like Pokemon Go, and they're all like, yeah, in unison. Like, sweet, just stay out of trouble.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, they're not causing trouble. They're just walking around the fucking lawn.
Except for the dude in the bush who's like listening to this episode, like, Pokemon Go. No, I'm jerking off to the episode. Fair enough, sir.
Can you just say it's Pokemon Go so I can go?
Yeah, just tell me.
I don't want to have to stop.
Oh, yeah, Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Go or Pokemon?
So if you want to be in
If you want to be in an area you're not supposed to be in and you get caught, you just say, "Oh, Pokemon Go."
Yeah.
Pokemon
Sorry, I didn't know.
Go.
Sorry, officer. I didn't know I couldn't do that.
Pokemon Go.
Why's your cock out?
Pokemon hither.
Oh, actually, since we shout out to what's the shop? What's your shop?
Wild Child.
Wild Child. Yeah, I met Sarah down there the other day. We were both playing Pokemon, and this was like 5 or 6 in the morning. We've been playing way too much, and I didn't know that she knew our friend Lauren too, Lauren Tui, and that was like a really strange coincidence. And now you guys are here, and that's even weirder. But yeah,
Just go full
That's
circle.
Pittsburgh.
It's
Where's
Pittsburgh,
Wild
man,
Child?
It's in Brookline, 742 Brookline Boulevard.
Nice. So
Cool.
if you need any tattoos, go check it out.
And I'm actually going to plug a movie, too, real fast, that I doubt anybody else has seen, but is the best movie I've seen so far this year is Hell or High Water, which is from the writer of Sicario, and has Jeff Bridges in it, who most likely, unless something mind-blowing comes out, may win an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. Hell or High Water is the best movie of the year so far. Chris Pine from Star Trek stars in it, as well as who cares? Chris Pine.
And it's got Jeff Bridges. What the fuck, man? That's all you had to tell
Amazing.
me.
Just
Sorry, go ahead.
best movie I've seen, period.
Okay. See, now I haven't seen that, but I have seen Ghostbusters. Did just see Ghostbusters.
Did you?
Yeah.
I didn't think
I
you
still
could watch
haven't
it.
seen it.
I had to
I'm
watch it so I
scared.
could, like, I can't go, it's shitty until I've actually seen
Right.
it.
Well, just I mean, real fast. We're not going to review it or anything, but like, it was like there were some parts that were funny. Some of the jokes are definitely funny. I like all the people in it, but it's just not. I mean, it's not Ghostbusters. It doesn't feel like Ghostbusters really. I mean, any of the jokes could be like in any of their movies. Like it could be in Bridesmaids. It could be in The Heat.
It'd be funny
like
if
any of
there's
those.
some Bridesmaids jokes and Ghostbusters.
Fuck yeah.
They do.
It would have been better.
They do some like kind of obvious like tributes to the original movies.
Right.
I don't know. It was
There's some
fine.
key cameos, aren't there?
Yeah, there's
Everybody makes a
some
cameo.
alright, cameos.
Every single person makes
Yeah, I like the Annie Potts cameo. That was good.
I have a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old daughter, and that's all they keep talking about. So I'm gonna end up seeing it eventually.
Yeah, no, it was fine. Like it is funny. People who are like, oh, it's women. Like I don't. Honestly, that's not my only issue. Is just like it's not the Ghostbusters. Like they're not the original Ghostbusters. Like, it has nothing to do with men or women, whoever. It's like I want to see Bill Murray and fucking Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis and Ernie Hudson on the screen. That's what I want. But I'll never get that. So this was, I don't know. It didn't need to be a Ghostbusters movie. I don't think. Like it was just like here's some jokes with some special
Ghost
effects.
collectors.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
was
it just
fine.
I just can't get over like why did they have to make the fucking black actress be
Oh yeah.
the street smart like y'all know what the science but I know the streets and
Well,
it's
like,
like
she be the
oh this
scientist?
is like
Well,
kind of
apparently-
racist.
So they played to the stereotype.
Well,
It was not just like they played to like this I don't know, it just made it feel fucking moronic. You know, like having the only black actor in what's his name from the original Ernie Hudson. He was an intelligent, articulate man.
Yeah, he was just like a regular
Like,
guy.
and you couldn't like you had to have some like zany street smart person because in the original that didn't really exist. You could have like forewent that entirely, but instead you take this already controversial movie and then just be like, let's take this like black urban fucking stereotype and it's like. And her jokes weren't even that funny.
Well,
it wasn't even like
apparently-
a Chris Rock Friday sort of like saying like crazy shit, and you're like, oh my god, I'm weak. Okay, this is
Apparently, that part was supposed to be Melissa McCarthy, and people were
Yeah.
like, "I'm so fucking sick of Melissa McCarthy being like the dumbass, like fat lady." So they changed the roles.
But she still is.
I mean, no, she's smart, but she's still like.
Pretty much.
but she's zany, nerdy, sort of like zippy.
Well, the
in
problem-
Ghostbusters.
I love her work on SNL.
Yeah.
And
That's
it's a
funny,
shame to hear that they dumbed her down like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you know my family makeup is.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like I'm waiting for that role model to come through for my kids because they see it in their mother.
Right.
You know, and it's like I was hoping like, oh, this will be a great opportunity.
This
and
is
then
not the
like,
movie for it.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
It really was. Like, all the criticism this movie received, when I went to see it, I felt like the only criticism it was worthy of was taking yet this, like, sort of fucking not even a stereotype. What is this? Like, historical caricature. Like, it felt like blackface. You know what I mean? It felt like this fucking thing that's been goddamn done for 150 years, 160 years of like, no, man, guess what? Like, black people can be intelligent too. Like, can I introduce you to like Neil deGrasse Tyson?
You don't have to be a shtick every time.
Right.
It's like,
playing this caricature.
I mean, you're right, absolutely right. And I felt like that was kind of the whole thing of this whole movie, where it was like all the characters are just kind of, they're all zany. They're like, because in the original Ghostbusters, it's not like, zany acting. Everyone in the original movies are totally like 100% serious about everything. Like, there's no one who's like, like maybe Peter McNichol in the second one, but he's still playing like a very like subtle. He's a foreign guy, but he's still like Janosch. He's still like very subtle.
Right.
Like everything he says, like everything you're doing is bad. Like he's not Borat. He's just like a weird guy.
Right.
But everyone in the original movies is very subtle and straight, like played super straight. In this one, it's like, I liked what's the blonde? What's her name?
Kristen.
No. The Egon equivalent, the one who builds all the shit.
I haven't seen it yet.
Fuck, what's her name? She also from SNL.
Yeah. She was great.
She's the first. She's actually the first openly gay SNL cast member, or openly lesbian female.
The one that has that great skit about the alien invasion.
Yes. Yeah, I forget what her name is. She's very funny.
She's excellent,
and she's funny in the movie too. But it's just once again, it's like a caricature. It's not like Egon, where Egon says like very seriously says shit like, "I collect spores, molds, and fungus."
Yeah.
That's not a joke. It's just him saying that. 'Cause it's weird.
Yeah. It wouldn't be nearly as funny if you said it as a joke.
No.
But whenever you said the Egon equivalent, I was thinking before we talked about it today, I was thinking, okay, those four
Kate
people,
McKinnon.
one of them,
McKinnon,
like
yeah.
obviously it has to be like there's each one is analogous to one of the original cast members, and can we do a mix and match thing? But then you were saying that the black girl doesn't, like, she's not anything actually like Ernie Hudson. But so I thought, okay, well, maybe they're not actually paralleled. But then
no,
there's an
it's
Egon
just like
equivalent.
caricatures of the original.
Oh, okay.
Like if you made Ernie Hudson just like, because Eddie Murphy was supposed to be that part initially, like originally. If you actually had Eddie Murphy in there, he probably would have been more like the blah 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 blah. Not the like I'll see shit that'll turn you white. Yeah,
That's not a character for him, though.
right, exactly. Yeah.
Like he's made his money on it.
Right, he's Eddie. Yeah, but that would be a similar like if.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did not know that Eddie Murphy was supposed to play that part.
Yeah,
of it.
and John Belushi was supposed to be Venkman.
Oh, yeah.
no shit.
Slimer is modeled after John Belushi because he died.
Well, they've been trying to make this movie for 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
So
Well, initially they're trying to get like a Ghostbusters.
they've been
3.
trying to do a third.
There's a video game. The
Yeah.
Ghostbusters video game is actually like Ghostbusters
Correct.
3. It's all the original voices and shit. It's awesome, actually.
Yeah. So is Melissa McCarthy like Dan Aykroyd?
Yeah,
I take
pretty
it,
much.
okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
and there actually really isn't the Bill Murray like
No.
between her and Kristen Wiig. Like they're kind of both Ray. They're both really like goofy. And there's no dry like sleazy
Sexual innuendo.
I think
Yeah.
they tried to pull it off with what's her name, also from Bridesmaid, the thinner of the two,
Kristen Wiig.
Kristen Wiig.
Yeah.
They tried to pull it off with her being like very.
But she's awkward though. She's not.
She doesn't have that like
Bill Murray
smoothness.
is smooth as fuck like the whole
Yeah.
time, and never for 1 second is he awkward ever.
That's another thing. Like, why can't some chick just like prey on some dude? Be like, it's
I would
not,
love
man.
that. That'd
Like,
be amazing.
hey, you're not too good with that phone. I'm going to give you a lesson. What are you doing at 7?
That's how I got married.
Come on over. I'll show you how to answer a phone.
Should we actually talk about comics?
First, let's talk about like anything you guys want to talk about Pittsburgh Retro Gaming. Give us a
Got some big events coming up. You got a big event coming up.
tell us about the shit.
If you like video games, especially the old video games, we have an expo coming up in September on the north side at the Elks Lodge. It's our Pittsburgh Retro Gaming Expo, and we have basically a whole butt ton of vendors coming in to set up, buy, sell, trade.
Butt ton.
Those are butt jokes.
Video
It's a very
games.
sexual podcast.
Watch your gums.
It's a trapeze ton of
Video games, art.
video games.
Yes, a trapeze ton.
Except we go with no net.
Ew.
Yeah, boy.
I use the net.
He's got the hair for it.
It's a dental dam. In case you didn't catch on what the net meant, it means dental dam.
That's your new nickname, it's Dental Dan.
No, dude, that is not my new nickname.
You said it, not me.
Damn, it is not my nickname.
I heard Dental Dan. That's amazing.
Dental Dan. Dental Dan. Why ain't you got no legs?
But yeah,
Fuck, we just derailed your entire...
completely derailed
This
it.
happens sometimes.
We'll try
yeah.
and compose here.
Yeah,
a little
you-
composure, a little decorum.
Your own comrades derailed it.
I absolutely did. That's what I do. 90% of the time. Yeah.
And then Dental Dan was stuck in.
Yeah, I mean,
You should see the thread we have. We have like a chat, like a group chat.
we have a
just
group
like-
just for our insanity.
Good.
Like just for the admin side of things. There's a group for 4 of us. That's how retarded we can get at times. I mean,
All right, so anyway, the event, you got art and games. And
At the Elks, which is cool as fuck.
yeah.
It's got an open bar, so
Nice.
if you're over the age of 21. But we're setting up TVs, all the old TVs for people to play. We'll have all different systems set up.
Sony Trinitron specifically.
Nice.
We'll have
Purists.
tournaments. You can win prizes for the different tournaments. We haven't really announced any tournaments yet, but there's going to be tournaments. You come compete against your fellow gamers, and if you win, you could win whatever prize we decide we're going to give away for it.
Nice.
Yeah, it's going to be September 17th, which is a Saturday. I know all our official flyers say from 12 to 5, but there was actually a very limited availability of early admission tickets from 11 to 5.
Because you want to get in there and get that good shit before everybody
Exactly.
else does. Like
Right.
you want to be able to have first dibs on like whatever the vendors have before the whole mass comes in and takes it all.
Right.
Yeah.
You can find all of our information at facebook.com/Pittsburgh Retro Gaming. All one word, no spaces, no dots, just Pittsburgh Retro Gaming. And that'll take you to our official page, which is open to the public. And then, because we're a bunch of cheap bastards, we don't run a website. We do everything through Facebook. We use a little bit of Twitter and a little bit of Instagram, but primarily Facebook. So when you hit the Facebook public page through that, Facebook//Pittsburgh Retro Gaming, you'll have an option to click sign up, and that'll take you to the closed group, which is actually the original Pittsburgh Retro Gaming. And that's pretty much like a message board, is how I would describe it.
You're
How many
describing
members
it's
do you
like
guys have?
it's like a how-to instruction from IKEA. Insert slot A. Slot C.
Yeah. I'm maintaining at this point.
So start at like 5 p.m. and you will become a member of Pittsburgh Retro Gaming's original group by like 6 or 7.
Oh no,
the
we're
next morning.
24/7 operations. So if you request permission to access the closed group, 5 p.m. is the wrong time. If you show up for PRGX,
You completely missed what he was trying to say.
well, I caught 5 p.m. and if you're showing up for PRGX at 5 p.m., you're late because the shit's over.
It's still happening.
I'm holding the flyer for a reason.
This is why we drink. To make everything better. Everything better.
So this is our third event. We've been doing this for the third like big event. We've been doing this. Me and him met like on Craigslist, looking for trapeze.
It was a trapeze
We're going to
incident.
stop you right there.
It's that long hair that he has. I can't help it.
And we were like, there needs to be a place, like a hub for all of us to communicate and talk about old video games.
At a
that we love.
Sunoco at 3 in the morning.
In the middle of winter, like 20 degrees below zero. What's up? You like Nintendo? Me too. Cool, man.
in a parka.
So we just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So this one will be probably the biggest one we've done, and just keep going.
Where is Joe? It will be the biggest event we've
It will be
done.
the biggest one.
Yeah, because previously we did Game Masters Pittsburgh. We did that 2 years in a row, and the first one we did was basically free, and nobody gave a shit. So we said, well, hey, let's do $5 just to get people committed.
Right.
Yeah.
And people showed up. People showed up in gangbusters. Pittsburgh or Game Masters Pittsburgh is probably a bookstore the size of most people's living rooms. It's not very large, and we got it packed to the point that we had to set up pop-up canopies outside with the $5 admission. No vendor fees or anything. You show up if you get there early enough. You got a table.
Yeah.
And we got a lot of requests at that point, like, hey, you should set up a vendor venue specifically. But we've always wanted to tie everything back into the local community. If you're doing something in Pittsburgh that involves video games, and now it's really become nerd culture, so comic books, video games, old cartoons, whatever, toys, we try and tie it back in. So the second event we did, well, actually the third event we did, was at Victory Point in the South Side, which is an arcade. And I know Joe Dukovich, he went through hell and high water to get that store established because of the archaic laws in Pennsylvania involving arcades and coin-operated machines. So since he was kind enough to come out to our second event at Pittsburgh, Game Masters Pittsburgh, we decided to have an event at his place. And it did really well, so we decided at that point we need to grow. We need to go beyond that and do a vendor-oriented event.
Right.
And now we're at Pittsburgh, or PRGX, Pittsburgh Retro Gaming Expo.
Nice.
And it's really well. I mean, vendors are packed. We pretty much sold out of vendors immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And so so this is like the next iteration from the one you guys did at the arcade on Carson Street.
Correct.
Okay. And that one was back when? In November?
January 10th?
January?
It was this year. It was 2016.
January 10th. We try to do 2 events a year.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I remember when that one was because we
guys mentioned it. That was
we saw it.
Give a little shout out.
We're growing it organically. We're not forcing. We're not like we need to have this, and this. As we grow, the events get bigger, without really any more effort on our part. Just the whole community itself just is growing and growing and growing, which makes it much easier.
Yeah, like Colt said, this literally started from a Craigslist posting.
Yeah.
I mean, I posted a copy of Crystalis in box on
It didn't
Craigslist.
save. The save battery doesn't work. Rip me off.
Hey, you've been at this long enough. You should know how to replace that. And if you don't, you can always hit up Steve and let him know that, or I'm sorry, not Steve. Phil Stevenson, and let him know that you need your battery replaced.
So we've been thinking about doing some live podcast events and having some vendors and stuff, and we're not sure what the venue would be. Maybe the Oaks in Oakmont, but it'd be a good thing for you guys to be one of the vendors, or have some of your vendors come in.
Absolutely.
While we do a live podcast, maybe some comedy.
Yeah, because we're always trying to promote local businesses. I mean, Pittsburgh's a small area, but the retro gaming scene is very spread out.
Yeah.
It goes all the way from Hopewell out to Greensburg down to Uniontown.
Well, if you go to a Steel City Con or something, or the Three Rivers Con, you'll see just people fucking come in from everywhere. Right. And they're not all from Pittsburgh. They come in from a big area outside. So yeah, I'm sure that people for gaming come in too.
Steel City Con is something we have to look at all those different events and plan around them whenever we're doing them. Because nobody's going to go to Steel City Con, spend $30 to get in, go spend all their money, and then next week, we're doing a retro gaming thing.
What people don't realize, though, at least I hope they realize is pretty much 90% of the dollars that go into our events, we try to reinvest back into those events, whether it be through prize support or advertising. Because you know how it is with the comic shop. Advertising isn't cheap, and it's almost a gamble. It's like you put the money into it and you hope that you get something back out of it.
Right.
And then we try and last year we did KibotchiCon, and that was really just an effort to try and promote this and make it larger, so that we can do more for the local community. Because this year, what are we giving away? We're giving away a complete box Nintendo, complete in box Sega Genesis.
Wow.
Plus other stuff.
Other stuff we haven't announced yet.
Right.
We're trying to like a little bit at a time, just kind of like lead it in. But
Right.
yeah,
and we don't have any backers. I mean, the reason we did the first event for free was because Phil Glotfelty, the owner of Game Masters Pittsburgh, was kind enough to donate us his store for a Sunday, his only day off.
Right.
He donated it to us, and we did it, and it was great. And so then the next year we were able to do even better. So we kicked him back a little bit for his day off.
Right.
And then we made the partnership with Victory Point, and we did that, and this event we cut ticket prices. We've done everything we possibly could do to make it as affordable as we can for people. So.
Nice. So why don't you say the event one more time so everyone can all the information?
Yeah, it's going to be PRGX is the name of the event. Our Ticketmaster is actually ShowClicks.
Okay.
If you go to ShowClicks and you put in PRG Expo, or if you go to, like I said, the easiest way probably to find
if you go on Facebook and type in PRGX 2016, the event comes right up.
Okay,
correct.
cool.
We have hashtags. That's our hashtag is hashtag PRGX 2016, and it should come right up on Facebook. We have a little activity on Twitter and a little bit of activity on Instagram, but Facebook's really our primary focus, even though I know you despise Facebook and you think it's evil. Here's a healthy alternative for you.
No. I feel like none of it's evil.
Shit.
I just feel like Instagram's most conducive for
because you can
trapezing yourself out there.
Yeah, you can.
Don't feel the need to defend yourself against me.
Oh no, I don't. I want to let you know that there are healthy alternatives. On
Don't
Facebook.
Defend yourself.
We have
me.
explicit rules against politics and all that nonsense. It'll literally be X-Men from the retro era all the time.
It's a lifestyle that welcomes you, Chris.
Yes.
And I'm just going to point out right now, so these guys, Monkey's been playing X-Men, what is this, X-Men 2, Brian?
Yeah, we brought a Retron 5 with us because we figured it was no.
He's on a level I've never seen in my entire life.
I think he's
played
playing X-Man too.
I've been playing the shit out of this my entire life. Well, not my entire life.
I own that game, and I've never
during
even
my
seen
life.
that level.
Yeah, I don't know how they got there. I think they're cheating.
Yeah, I think he's using the built-in cheats, but that's
Save state.
I respect that. I really respect that. But he's using an original Genesis controller, so hey.
Yeah.
But we brought that. We brought a GameCube with a mounted screen, which was donated to us by a colleague of mine. Very thoughtful of him. And we brought Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, regular Nintendo, and GameCube.
Yeah, I saw the
games.
pile of Super Nintendo games down there. I was digging through there. I don't know whose they are,
Absolutely.
but it's a good, solid collection of Super Nintendo games.
Yes, I heard there's a Mega Man X3 floating around this structure somewhere.
Yeah, it's around here somewhere. I'm not sure.
And I'm jealous because I have X, and that's about it,
X3
except
is so
for
cool.
my PlayStation 2 collection.
Real fast. I may have actually said this in the podcast before, but one of the coolest moments of my young gaming life was I had to save my money for Mega Man X3, and I'm pretty sure it was $80 whenever it came out.
It's probably worth more than that now, actually.
Right.
Oh, yeah, much more.
It's definitely appreciated in value.
Oh yeah. So I had to save it. $80 back in the day when that came out that's like, I don't know, $170 now or something like that. It's like that's like a lot.
It's kind of kept up with the rate of inflation. So you have
because games now are like $60 to $70,
right,
brand new.
Yeah, brand new games.
Yeah.
But if you figure like $60 back in the '90s, as
Games got
equated
cheaper.
to like current day value, the games aren't any more expensive than they were back then.
Right,
They've
I'm saying games are
grown
cheaper.
in value.
Actually. I'm saying that game was like way more expensive than it would be. Like today, that game would have been like $100.
Yeah, prime example. Chrono Trigger back in the '90s was $80 to $90 when it came out, and that was back then. $80 to $90 was a lot of money back in the '90s.
Absolutely. So I saved my money for Mega Man X3, and start playing it the first level. You're going through, and at some point, like halfway through the first level, you're playing as X, or Mega Man if you want to call him that, and you get hit with like some kind of stun bolt or something, and the bad guy that shot you with it, this thing comes in and takes your character away, and they both disappear, and you're like, what the fuck was that? And then this like badass heavy metal music starts playing, and the ceiling breaks, and you're Zero. And that's the first time we got to play as Zero, and he has a fucking lightsaber, and it's the coolest moment in gaming.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
Zero's
Pretty
badass.
fucking
Can't
awesome.
confirm.
Yeah, because like in the previous game, Zero was just like an unplayable character who was always way more powerful than you. And
He was the shit.
yeah, and then in this game,
He had a
the
lightsaber.
first level, yeah, you get to play as him with a fucking lightsaber.
Lightsaber.
Yeah, laser sword. Yeah, sorry.
I'm of the Star Wars generation.
I guess to put it to people who can't actually see it or haven't seen it, it's a lightsaber. But it's
Yeah,
not
it's more or
lightsaber.
less a lightsaber. Yeah. Anyway,
Not really
that's
shaped
my
like a
Mega Man
lightsaber,
X3. Yeah, let's get to some of the books actually. So
And transition.
Yes, that's my transition, and if you don't like it, you can fuck off. But the first book we have Legend. Greg, would you like to?
Oh, yeah,
summarize this book?
So, I've got to say, I walked into this book not as is the ideal approach to anything that you're unfamiliar with. If you, well, I mean, of course, we're going to be talking about it, so this won't work for you. But I knew nothing about it walking into it, and I just thought, Legend. Okay, maybe this is sword and sorcery. It could be anything. But I opened it up, and it's characters are off screen. It's just like, the world isn't what it once was, kind of stuff. You see these bleak landscapes. It's nighttime, thunder, whatever, and then all this like, our elders should be whatever. It's dogs talking to each other, which is hilarious. They're using all this, flowery language, and they have to elect. It's like Native American tribesmen.
Yeah.
They're one fallen tribesman.
Leader.
Yeah. Well, the leader, yeah, chief, I guess. I forget what they call it, but they have to elect a new one.
Sunheart. There's Sunheart.
Yeah, the title, that person's or that dog's not name, but title is Sunheart. So they have to elect a new Sunheart, and the one, witch doctor type says I've read it in the bones. The bones speak, and it has to be you, Legend. One of the dogs' names is Legend, and he's like, no, not I. There are far more qualified ones, and they're like, take this responsibility or face banishment. It's like, okay, well, begrudgingly, I accept or something. It's stuff like that, and I don't know. It's cool, but at the same time, you think, okay, well, maybe it's like ordinary events, because they talk about the misdeeds of mankind, and their god, all dog is their kind of like Christ-like figure that they refer to kind of in third person sometimes. I thought, okay, that's pretty clever. So I thought, maybe this is just a very ornate telling of ordinary stuff through their eyes. And for like half the book, this is what I'm thinking it is. Maybe like if they say like, we have been invaded again, and it's just a mailman or something. But no, like how their companion, their friend dog died. The one dog is retelling the story, and and they're showing flashback of it, and there is, at least it appears to be, some kind of beast lurking in the
Crazy
darkness.
monster.
Yeah.
The Nothing.
The Nothing. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, really. Or it, it's just like this thing has a giant, like, faceless mouth and tentacles and stuff. You're like, holy crap! All right, yeah. So, what's happening after issue 1? I don't know, but I thought this was pretty cool. It's because it gives you a reason to like it, and then it sort of flips that upside down. You're like, oh no, this is actually a lot more serious than I thought it was a second ago. So it's pretty rad.
Yeah. Go ahead.
It's cool. I mean, like I parted with comic books quite a while ago. Like we were talking about earlier, before we started, recording. G.I. Joe was my mainstay. So to come back to this, of all comics you would present me with, it's kind of interesting because I just recently became a dog owner to a German Shepherd, which is the breed of dog which perishes in the beginning of this. And, getting to know dog ownership, and even seeing with Colt's dog, Yuna, how they interact. And it's just really... It was really interesting to see something from a dog's perspective. Yeah. Because I watch my dog all the time, and I'm like, what is going on in your brain? Because I don't understand it. I'm like, okay, you need to poop, you need to pee, you need to eat. But there's so much more complex, because I was a cat owner before I was a dog owner. And, it's such an interesting perspective to see, because they definitely have a communal mentality. Whereas a cat could be like, fuck you, I don't care, scoop my poop and feed me, but a dog is so much more family oriented, I mean, they're pack oriented, but it's a family to them.
Well, I would say that like this reminded me of or especially talking about what the dogs are thinking, especially because whenever the smaller dog is telling the story of what happened to the chief dog, he's not good at talking. Like he's like dumber than the other dogs. He's not like, the reason why the bigger dog is like one of the leaders is because it's a smarter dog, and that's definitely the case with like most like dog breeds, where like some of them are definitely more intelligent than the other ones.
Oh yeah,
and like that little like. One of them is like really disrespecting the shit out of a little pug that's telling the story. Like, dude, you're a fucking asshole. Like, what are you talking about? And Pug's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And then the other dog's like, "No, let him speak." It's like, I like that because it shows like the different levels of intelligence of the different dogs. Yeah, Pug, let's be honest. Like pugs, the yippy ones, goes like, "Shut the fuck up, dude."
My sister owns a puggle, and I mean, he's cool. He's a cute dog, but
not smart.
No, I mean, Easter is a demonstration of his corporal abilities.
Although I don't know if there is a relationship between like the size of the dog and the intelligence, because
Jack Russell Terriers
are this like miniature poodle, and I have no affinity, no connection to like miniature poodles aside from this one that I briefly had, and like no shit. And my sister had her Muffy. Had her like for the rest of her life, but this dog, she knew me for a day, and I would take her, like I took her and I just wanted to see. I was like, all right, sit, because I like to watch her like run. I was like, stay, and I walked down like this alley, and it was probably like 300 feet. She didn't move, like she did not move, and then I was like, come on, come, and she just took off, and like. Watching those like little feet, like going as fast as they possibly could. It's like, you're fucking brilliant, Had Rottweilers and pit bulls.
Wait, what were you doing with a dog just like unchained outside?
Dude, because I don't feel like I need to fucking have a dog chained up all the time.
That sounds like a police report just being
a leash or something.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Yeah, it does sound like a police report, but like when you grow up in the city, like in Pittsburgh, everything's a little fucking community, you know what I mean? So like if something happened, the dog got out, they'd be like, "Oh fuck, that's fucking Danny Dongilli's dog." Like, son of a bitch, like, and then they call, whoever, they call my dad or something, Yeah, man. I don't know. It's very tribal.
Yeah.
But, and even when I lived in Bloomfield, I used to walk Chopper without a leash. He was a pit bull. He's kind of dumb, loving, but like not during the day. I wouldn't walk him down Liberty Avenue so he could like sniff dudes' balls and like run up behind like chicks and like sniff their ass and like scare them because he's big, or run out in front of a car. But at nighttime on the back streets, you fucking let that dog go, man. Yeah, the dog doesn't want to be on a leash.
My dog is good. I don't even need a leash ever. I mean, I do because legally you have to, but she's amazing. She stays right by me. What kind of dog is it? She's a mutt. I rescued her off the street. She was playing in traffic. She's a puppy. And she's like a German Shepherd, Chow, Golden Retriever mix. Awesome, but she's such a good dog.
And now she's just trying to live. She's like, man, I'll listen to you. Like, I'm just trying to live. I'm like Big Pun.
She's amazing.
I just lost 100 pounds.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's cool, yeah.
So this book.
But I feel like the book was commentary on like people.
Oh yeah.
Like I feel like it's not. I don't feel like it's a book about dogs. It's a book about like us as fucking dogs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, it's absolutely.
Yeah. And the thing. Well, actually, I was remiss. I didn't say the. So legend. This is writer co-creator Samuel Satin, Sattin. Artist Chris Kohler, colored by Chris Kohler, lettered by Samuel Satin. Map. Oh, there's a map in the back with Katie Langlois. Anyway, so this is from Z2 Comics. But the dogs' names, I thought this was kind of funny because the one telling the story, they kind of have like a roll call on one of the first pages of the different characters, and it's their names are One is Daisy, one's Herman, one's Elso, and then there's Legend, of course. The one telling the story, though, the pug is called Fidget. So, I thought that was pretty fun.
Yeah, I like that they all have like dog names. They're not named like Charles and
Yeah, I was thinking the thing.
Wesley.
My question was like, are those the names that their humans gave them? Like, is this soon after the
Oh,
apocalypse?
they have to be like no like self-respecting being is going to name itself Daisy or Fidget.
But Legend,
Yeah, I identify as Fidget.
Legend could be.
He got lucky.
He did get lucky. There's probably also a dog named Lucky.
Fidget. That's true. I don't know. That's a rough name for a tattoo artist, though. Like, hey, what's up? I'm Fidget. Like, you sure?
Maybe I don't want a tattoo from that guy.
A tough time paying attention to stuff for a while.
Shakes.
Shakes.
You know, shakes.
He shakes a lot. He gets excited.
So, does anybody have anything else to say about this book?
It was like a post-apocalyptic Homeward Bound.
I liked how dark.
Yeah, fuck yeah! That's the best
good
explanation. That's a really good explanation
Iron
or
Legend,
description.
Feet, Homeward Bound.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like the little legend at the back. The legend, but the map at the back.
Right.
It's just like the land, and then a bunch of clouds around the rest of it, and then you see like a bit of city, and you're like,
What's the dangerous part? Thorn bush, thorn wall.
yeah,
Thorn wall,
and
which is barbed wire. It's a
Yeah.
barbed wire fence.
The cool thing is, it's like their wilderness is the city. It's not the actual, like for us, wilderness is like out in the country and stuff. But like their safe spot is out in the middle of nowhere, and for them going like into the wild is I think they call it the wild.
Yeah,
Going into the wild is going into the city, and like that's where they find that monster thing.
I'll be interested to see. I want to see what city this develops into.
Yeah.
You know, if it's going to be like sort of a.
It might not be important.
I'd prefer it didn't turn into like New York City, and this wasn't like Central Park.
Pittsburgh.
One of those.
Pittsburgh.
It's got to be Pittsburgh.
It's Pittsburgh, and that park is which park would that be? That is
I don't even
Frick
know.
Park.
Frank Curto, Kernard. Oh, wait, those are obscure, aren't they?
yeah. Brad's got all the deep cuts of the Pittsburgh parks.
Yeah, fucking. Never mind.
Yeah,
Shenley Park would be ideal.
Shenley Park. Shenley Park, I would not be upset about at all.
It'd be awesome. You have the conservatory right there.
Right.
You have Oakland right there.
They could eat their way through Phipps.
It's not too far from downtown.
Yeah, that would be good.
So, if anybody has anything else to say about this book, okay. Well, we'll go to Brik. Brik. Dan?
Yeah.
I think this is your responsibility?
This is my responsibility. It was. Yeah, this book was great. So, I'll just give a quick breakdown. Immigrants, presumably from Poland, Russia maybe? Poland?
Like that, yeah.
Eastern Bloc, Eastern Europe, and they own a little store. The kid's getting picked on in Yonkers, so he's in Yonkers right now, and the grandfather tells him the story about this when their town was being invaded by the Nazis. The people of the town came together and built this golem out of clay that like destroyed the Nazis. But the problem was that this golem they took and drew on his forehead. They drew in or carved in Emmet, E-M-E-T, which means truth. And so after he got done destroying the Nazis and beating them back, this boy who's still alive right now, it would be his great-grandfather, went and wiped off the E from the Emmet, and so it just made it M-E-T, which means death, I guess, presumably in Hebrew or Yiddish or something. And then it caused this golem to collapse back into clay. And as he's telling this story to his grandson, his daughter, who's his grandson's mother, is like, oh, you shouldn't tell him these stories. He's getting picked on, and he doesn't need to hear this bullshit. And he's like, well, this kid's a boy. Well, at the same time, the Russian mafia or the Russian mob or whatever is extorting people in Yonkers, extorting Russian immigrants, and end up killing his grandfather, throwing him off a roof because he wouldn't pay the extortion fees. And then you see that on his grandfather's back is
in the story he says that the recipe essentially for making the golem is hidden somewhere.
It has been destroyed.
It's been destroyed, yeah.
By this young boy's grandfather, this guy's father. It was destroyed, and the golem can't be created. But the thing that was really cool about this, and they go back to it, so I think this is going to be a theme. And what he said to his grandson was, there's always a right way, to do something. There's the right way always exists.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting, especially in the climate right now where things are really fucking blurry. Is there always a right way? Is there always a right way? And so or a way to make things right. And so, what does that fucking look like? Does that look like restitution? Does that look like fucking death? Does that look like what does that look like? Prison sentences. But they come back to it at the end after his grandfather's been murdered by these gangsters, and his grandson's like, well, we gotta fucking go back after him. We gotta we have to enact some sort. There has to be retribution for what they did, and. I forget on which panel it comes. It's said again, but it's there's always a way to make things right. There's and always a right way.
I thought it was pretty funny how it escalated from I'm going to smash your window out of your store to, well, I guess you're getting thrown off a building.
Yeah.
Right. But I think it was kind of one of those things. His grandfather was like, yeah, you threw a brick through my window. I get you, man. You want this money. I already didn't pay you when you came in. And then my grandson came in. You guys bounced. Then that night you busted our window. And then you come back and it's okay, you want money? Well, fuck you. I'm not paying you. And they were like, okay, well, if you're not going to pay us, we'll kill you.
There's no get beat up, no anything like that. It's just straight boom.
Yeah.
It's hardcore.
And these cunts, dude, these fucking cunts who come over, honestly, I was in Seattle, I said, I was in Seattle with trapeze, aside from the trapeze, right? This motherfucker. So I'm getting, it was me and my friend, we were, in this place, getting a slice of pizza. It was late at night. We just got done salsa dancing, and this is listen to me. As this unfolds, you're gonna realize that this is perhaps potentially a xenophobic rant. But I'm in there, and this fucking big tall Russian dude is behind me.
Boris.
Yeah, this fucking Boris looking motherfucker, and he's behind me, and. Dude doesn't know shit. Anyway, he doesn't know shit about dick. And we order pizza, and Anissa pulls out her card, and she pays for our pizza. Right? We're friends.
Yeah.
We've been paying for each other all night long, going back and forth. And this, she was just I'll get the pizza. And this dude's behind me, and I hear him. He's like, I feel like I've been here before. I was in here. I celebrate New Year's Eve before in here. And he's talking to his big dumb cunt-looking friend with his stupid-looking beard. and I'm not paying any attention to him. I'm that's the stupidest fucking shirt I've ever seen in my life. Where'd you get that from? Night at the Roxbury, stupid. Nice fucking shoes. And then he's like, oh, I see your lady's taking care of you. And I was I just looked at him. He's
you're looking
up. I look up. He's probably 6'2" or 6'3". I didn't say anything. He's like, my wife, she never take care of me. And I was like, well, dude, it sounds like you got a shitty fucking wife. And he was like, my wife take care of everything else. You know what I'm saying, bro? I was like, no, I don't know what you're saying. It sounds like you got a shitty wife. And he's like, oh, she take care of everything, just never pay the bill. And I was like, yep, sounds like you got a shitty wife. And dude, everything in me, I was like, I want to fucking punch the shit out of you. I want to push your head right through this fucking pizza glass window thing. Like,
Sounds completely out of character for you.
But you know, like these Russian dickheads who come over and just like, you know, like I've lived in other countries. I've spent a lot of time there. Never in my wildest dreams would I go over and start fucking insulting somebody just off the cuff. Like, well, I've been here before. Like, listen, I will take your stupid-looking European shoes and shove them in your fucking mouth and put your head through that fucking window. Like, it's principle, man. It's principle. It's like as.
I'm glad that you could not do that.
Salsa dancing got you really riled up.
No, I was like totally fine. I was like in a good mood. But like this guy's decision to like insert himself into my life in a way that was like judgmental. And not just judgmental, but like violent. Like his insertion into my response, yes, was responding to that violence. But like his way of inserting himself into my life, like was already violent.
But you took the civilized route,
right? By insulting his wife,
right? But you did not shove his European loafers up his ass.
Well,
no. So kudos to you for that.
But I did. But like there was like everything in me. Like he didn't bite. You know, like I was hoping he would take the bait. You know, like I was hoping he would get really pissed off. I'm like, you got a shitty wife. Sounds like you got a shitty wife. Like I said, you got a shitty wife. And I was just waiting for him to be like, fuck you. I'm like, oh, really? Okay, fuck me. Fuck you. And then...
So you're intentionally trying to escalate this situation.
Oh, absolutely. If I could have... I would have insulted his mother if I knew that would like make him see red. It pissed me off so bad. It's just like, how dare you? How dare... Like, what are you doing over here? Like, what are you doing over here that you find yourself with an excess of money and time to buy expensive pizza and insult Americans or people who live here? Like,
you've never been around like really shitty Eastern Europeans before? Like that, you know, it just happens. It's how they.
It does just happen.
Yeah, that happens a lot actually.
Yeah. When have you spent like?
Yeah, I mean,
enough time around like shitty Eastern Europeans.
Yeah, I mean, I know like most of the people from like the Serb Club I like, but like every once in a while you get someone and you're like, oh, you're actually really masochistic chauvinistic and like shitty. Oh, and also if you go to the South Side ever, like there's always a bunch of like real big dudes that walk around just like disrespecting the shit out of women. It's crazy.
Right, but chauvinism, I can.
No, that was a chauvinist comment. What he said.
Right, but it was attacking me.
Yeah, but it was this attacking you with a chauvinistic
for not being chauvinistic enough.
Right, yeah.
And it was chauvinistic in the sense that he was downing her for not being submissive.
Yeah,
the fact that she had the cojones to step up and be like, "I'll pay for you, and it's okay." Like that's extremely chauvinistic.
Yeah. You should have been like, yeah, well, you know what? I actually am not insecure, so I can allow a woman to pay for me, and that's cool with me, man. Like, if you're so insecure that you have to pay all the time, that's your business. But, you know, like, I am secure as a man, so I don't have to do that all the time. So, you know, that's cool. Do you, buddy?
Yeah, I felt like I achieved all that by calling his wife shitty.
I think that cuts a little deeper.
You just need to channel your inner Joe.
Some way crazier shit about his wife.
What would you? All right, go. Ew, I let my wife take care of everything, but not pay for me ever. Go.
Your wife's fucking hairy. Build a wall around her. Terrible things.
That's why your wife got big feet.
But you gotta go about like attacking their kids because like they made that. That's part of like fuck. His wife's not really part of. His wife's not made of him. You gotta be like,
holy shit!
I bet your kids are fucking ugly. I bet your kids don't love you.
My wife goes to Phil Pelosi and not Babushka.
Oh shit! That's why your kids look like trolls. Stupid.
You're right. The kids. That's a better attack on kids.
Holy shit! That's brilliant. I never thought to attack his kids.
When in doubt,
gotta
attack
go
kids.
for the kids. They
Fuck
made
me.
it. It's like if you
You're so right.
If you worked like 9 months on this fucking statue or something, and then it just was like a piece of shit statue.
Yeah.
And then people were like constantly like, "Oh, dude, the statue you made for 9 months sucks."
It's the worst.
Absolute fighting words.
And it's the best you can do.
And
Also, it's
literally
also
all
the
that
best
you
can.
have. It's all that you have within you.
You tried real hard,
And
but it didn't work.
you tried real hard. You busted your statue load, and you made this piece of shit statue that fucking went to 3 different community colleges.
Holy shit, you're right. Fuck, what did I think about that?
Gotta go for the kids.
You're right. You're
Yeah.
right. There is
That-
a better way to do it.
That was 100% accurate, and you win. You win everything right now. But I took the exact opposite side of this. I was like, how can I make Dan angrier? How can I take the Russian side of this?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I just kept thinking, like, you actually met the nemesis of Rocky and Bullwinkle. Like, that's who you met. And those are the people. And I was just thinking, like, how could I possibly ruse Dan into anything further than this?
Oh, you couldn't, Chris. I love you too much. You couldn't. Like, you couldn't even get me like a fraction as worked up as this man with his stupid fucking shirt and his stupid jeans and those stupid shoes. Like what self-respecting man wears like flesh-colored fucking
Flesh-colored anything is
Can
a
I just-
sin.
Yeah, right.
Can I just say that you just said to Chris, I don't think you could get me half as worked up as this man with his.
Just let go of your trapeze.
Just let go, release.
Release and catch that man's arms.
I just this
Joe
is
never
all I
would've said
imagine is
anything
that
like that
there's
to me.
there's Russian spies that are trying to fuck you right now, and they're just sitting there like, oh yes, Dan,
We'll trick him into fist fight.
fist fight by setting up sexy fake moose.
We don't fist fight. Here, put this oil on. We have a wrestle.
Real moose will be behind him.
I like how you're still going with Rocky and Bullwinkle, like specifically.
Oh yeah,
We have sexy moose for Dan.
obviously.
Dan isn't a moose, and he doesn't find
No.
moose sexy.
You keep up this fight, you're going to get the horn.
No, Mr. Bullwinkle, no, none.
You get that.
There's some weird Asian thing with like a fan, and they're like going back like this. I just assume that's what's happening.
But it's actually just a
All
bunch
right.
of men with like really bad makeup.
All right, that's enough.
Fair enough.
This is getting exciting.
So that comic book was good.
Yeah.
So yeah, Brik was good. Check it out. There's a golem.
They're gonna bring the golem back.
What is the what's the publisher? I can't really lean forward.
It was tattooed on his grandpa's back after he died.
Shit, man. Oni.
Oni, yeah.
Oni Press.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with these guys.
They do good shit.
How long they been around?
I don't have any idea. I know I've read a couple things that are pretty good from them, though.
Yeah.
And
This is really
not gonna
good.
Perjure myself by saying a bunch of shit I don't know about, so I'm just going to say it's not.
Can you wildly speculate?
I
And-
could, but I'm not going to.
As long as you speak in generalities, it's okay.
Yeah, they do good stuff. I like it. This is a good book. So the next book, Captain Kidd, I think it's mine. This book is. I really like this book. It's about a guy who is a middle-aged guy, and he's kind of the opposite of like Shazam or Captain Marvel.
This is the first episode, or
Yeah, it's the first issue. Yeah. So this guy, he can. His power is that he is middle-aged and he's like kind of feeling like a piece of shit, but he can then focus his mental powers and become a young superhero, and it's real funny because.
he could pick bodies, I guess, or he didn't know he could pick bodies.
He didn't know that he could. No, I think he did. He knew he could like go in and out of.
Because that chick was like, "Why are you in that shitty body?"
Well, yeah, she's saying like you could be like this. You could be like in your superhero body all the time. There's no reason why you can't do that. So like he's. It probably says something about him that he has the choice of being a superhero, like a young superhero dude, all the time, but he still most of the time chooses to feel like
older
himself.
drunk guy.
Yeah, he's still like an old guy. So he's like, I feel old. So like most of the time, unless I have to do something, he's gonna be as his normal, regular self.
Maybe that's a cop out, man.
You think so? I mean, is it a cop out or is it like, is it stronger than like a strength move where he's like, no, I could be invincible all the time, but that's not
No, man. Maybe that's like commentary, like on our potential. Like we're all like capable of so much more than we fucking do. Instead, we like opt for this.
Watch Netflix instead of
fucking watch Netflix and jerk off to my trapeze story.
Yeah,
you know, when you could be out there like fucking making a goddamn difference in your own life.
See, I disagree. See, I think there's something to be said for feeling normal,
Also,
and getting time in your day to feel normal and not be on 24/7.
Right, I agree, but I feel like it seems like in my experience, more people than not are establishing a state of like normal, which is below what they're actually capable
It's
of.
easy. It's
you
easy.
know?
They don't have to stress themselves out all the time. They're just kind of like, you know what? Like I got my job, I got my shit, like I got my whatever, you know, family or not family or whatever. Like I have my routine, and I'm good with that. And that's what makes me comfortable. Like I could go out and probably do more. Like I might be more intelligent than I'm displaying or whatever, or more talented at some things. But yeah, it's like this is easy, and like I can come home and just fucking relax. Like I actually hear a lot of people who have 9-to-5 jobs who are just like, yeah, you know what? I just got a 9-to-5 job after doing something else, like say service industry or something else.
Right.
And it's just really nice to just, you know, at 5 o'clock I'm just off. I'm like, yeah, but could you like not? I mean, you could just do something else though. Like
what do you do with like the other like fucking 90 hours in your life?
Yeah.
But the flip side of that is, as a superhero, think about like all the things that you would see and deal with.
Oh, well, and
being
that's
able to switch that off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Would be priceless.
Absolutely. And part of this is, in one part he says, I was just talking to Greg about this earlier, he says to people, oh, right, he's in his own brain playing out the scenario that he's about to like save some people, and he goes, hang on, cars in a monsoon. And then, speaking as both him and the people in the cars, they're like, my hero. Not at all, citizen. Mediocre people like you are the real heroes. Thank you for barely trying. And then he said, okay, that's mean. Yeah. Someday I'll say some shit out loud, and that'll be the end of Captain Kidd. Which is probably why he turns it off. He's like, he doesn't want to have to be like Captain Kidd all the time.
I think that's my favorite part of this.
It's great.
But I feel like it's fucking easier because I don't know that superheroes see more than we see. They just see things from a vantage point of empowerment where they can actually affect some change. What's more difficult is for us as fucking mediocre people to see the shit that we do see completely disempowered. Not completely, but like almost entirely disempowered from whatever the fuck is going on. And still push forward with some sort of like purpose and idea of what we should do or what we could do or what we are potentially capable of. Like with these fucking guys, he turns into Captain Kidd, and then he can fucking do all this. He can save people from a monsoon. He can go and like stop some crime. He can go and like rebuild a school. He can go and do whatever. Us, we see crime happen. We see a school burn down. We see fucking people starving to death. And what can we do? Nothing. Like, essentially, we can do nothing. We can join a group, but, like, it's so labor-intensive.
But at the same time, he has the burden of expectation.
Yeah. I was going to say
all the time if he stays as Captain Kidd. He's constantly expecting. You're Captain Kidd.
Obligated.
Dude, go put that forest fire out. Save those drowning kids.
He's like, dude, I just made coffee. Fuck.
I would set the bar really low as Captain Kidd.
No, man, but I feel
tie
like
people's shoes.
I don't agree.
They're not disappointing because their shoes aren't tied.
I totally get the frustration.
I don't disagree with you.
Powerlessness, but there's a whole other expectation of being empowered with that expectation of, hey, you're the man. You're supposed to do this. You're supposed to accomplish this.
Yeah.
And to be burdened with that 24/7 is such a burden that 90% of people would never understand because they're not burdened with it. It's like, I'm just a faceless victim, or I'm just a faceless person in this. I can grieve and mourn this and be frustrated, but not be expected to be anything more than that.
He's just
But I don't know,
right now.
man. Yeah. I don't know. Like, I don't know if I believe that because I believe that like that shitty feeling that comes after watching like fucking 6 hours of Netflix straight, or comes after like playing video games for like a bunch of hours, or like fucking dicking around for an entire day, or like getting fucked up the night before and spending the whole next day like dragging ass and eating pizza and like doing whatever the fuck you can to like overcome just like that bullshit from the night before of excess. That shitty feeling is that like Captain Kidd, that expectation inside of us that's like you're capable of so much more. Like you have a finite number of breaths and you've used these breaths like in a way that is beneath what your absolute potential is. And not that, like, once in a while getting, like, a hangover, it's totally worth it, you know?
No,
and sometimes,
I completely
like,
get that. It's,
like,
it's
just
two sides of two different coins. I
think
completely get that.
Both of those viewpoints are valid. Like, if you're a regular person, you know, you can, like, the most you can do is, like, if you're in this situation, like, maybe get out of your car and get the fuck out of the way so, like, he doesn't have to worry about you. You know, like,
yeah, when the medic wagon's coming through, maybe move to the right.
Yeah, get fuck out of the way. Yeah. Or like if you see someone who he hasn't seen yet, and like help them or something. Like, that's the most you can do. And if you're doing that, you're like fucking going above and beyond. Like, that is you're a superhero too. Like, that's, you know. But if you're him, you got to get tired, man. Like, you know, okay, great, good example. Whenever, I'm not comparing myself to a superhero or anything, but whenever someone comes up to me, so I run a trivia company that does like live trivia shows. People sometimes come up to me and they're like, "Hey, I got a trivia question for you," and every time I'm like, "Fuck." Like, I'm not even working right now. Like, can you really right now? We can do that. We're gonna do that right now. And imagine if you were a fucking superhero, just like, hey, I'm not really sure how to get to my roof. Like, my roof's kind of fucked up. Can you like maybe give me a hand? Like, it wouldn't even be like the superhero shit. It would be something like real dumb. Like all your buddies. Actually, a good example. Is Jason here? Jason's a mechanic, and like every goddamn day, someone's like, so do you think maybe you could look at my cars? And he's like, yeah, all right, fine.
No, his favorite line is, my car's making this noise.
Right.
Well,
which has to be annoying to hear. Like,
it could be, but he's not obligated to look at it right then. He could say, "Hey, I'll be at my shop this day at this time. Swing by."
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, it's just the question itself eventually gets annoying. The Captain Kidd is more into a more extreme. Is like, hey, there's like some people about to die. Like 3 blocks down, there's a fire. He's like, all right, give me a second.
Sure.
Like, I just bought this piece of pizza. You know, like, it's gonna be cold by the time I get back. But
yeah,
no, and you're right. Like, it's easier in some ways to be like mediocre and just accept. Like, I'm just gonna sit on the couch and because there's something that feels a little bit good about that. You're like, you know what? Today I'm gonna Netflix. I'm gonna chill.
But what is that? Like, I think that's a fucking interesting thing to explore.
It is.
Is like. So we are capable. We are, and I think that people would agree to this. Like the larger margin of the population than not would agree if you ask them, are you capable of like doing more, accomplishing more? Do you have more talents unrealized than realized? Are you capable of accomplishing more than you've accomplished? You know. Do you waste more time than you would like to?
Right.
And I think the majority of the world's population would say something along the lines of, yeah, most likely. Yeah, right. I think so.
I would say that's a function of like just our kind of humanity where back in the day you had no choice but to like go all the time. Like, you're a hunter-gatherer. You're just always worried about the next like food or sleep or safety or whatever. And so like the inherent like, if you have time to relax, you're like, oh man, I'm just gonna sit down here and like, wow, this is luxury here. Like, I could just waste some time right now.
I would maybe even argue that it perhaps potentially, and as I'm like talking about this, I'm thinking about it deeper. Like, maybe it's the product of something much later than like industrialism, where like your worth is very much tied to your production. You know, your value is tied to your production. And so if you can do more, if you can produce more, then your value is greater. I don't know. I can't like pin this down exactly, but what I can pin down is this pervasive sort of feeling that when I talk to a lot of people, you know, and we've spent a day or we've separately spent days watching Netflix, playing video games, like jerking off, not fucking doing anything, and you feel shitty. It's like, well, why do you like what did you actually forego to do this? Right. And the reality is, like, you haven't forewent much. It's not like you missed. You know, you didn't skip work. You didn't like no call, no show to work. You didn't like not show up to your best friend's wedding. You did not show up to, you know, some baptism or some whatever. You didn't fucking miss anything. But the thing is, you feel like this sense of time squandered. And I feel like that's like the Captain Kidd inside of us being like, dude, you can do more than this. Like, you fucking dicked around all day, and like this is time that like you could have been leveling up. Yeah. You could have been doing something more, and instead, like, you just dicked around. Like, you opted for like middle-agedness as opposed to Captain Kiddness.
I completely get that, because back when we were young, when we were in high school,
still young, bro.
We are still young. Even though I've got a 7'5" and a 3-year-old, we're still young. But like, I mean, we were talking earlier about the setup I used to have at my parents' house, and I used to play EverQuest for hours upon hours upon hours, and I was working at the now non-existent Highland Country Club, and I would come home and I would play that. And one day something just clicked, and it was like, you have so much more in you. You're spending all this time on this game, leveling this game up, leveling this character up, and it's like you have so much more in you. And at that moment, I realized I need to take a different path, and that's when I went on the path that I went on now.
Yeah,
but there's still always going to be that need, psychologically and spiritually, for you to disconnect and retreat within yourself for a little bit in that escapism, which is what comic books bring and film brings and video games bring. It's healthy so long as you don't get lost in it. Once you get lost in anything, it's not healthy. Yeah. But to a degree, you always have to have that, because if you don't, then all you're really doing is getting lost in whatever that other pursuit is.
And that's something I've talked about before on this podcast, and it's cool that you brought it up, is this, like, what function do comic books play, or whatever your outlet is that is kind of, like, in the realm of fantasy or engaging with fantasy? Like, does it inspire you? Does it inspire you to be more fucking Captain Kidd than, like, old middle-aged men?
It's both.
You have to recognize the cue when it presents itself. When that moment occurs to you, when that train passes you, if you don't recognize it and get on it, you're going to miss it.
It's an inspiration and an escape at the same time.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
I would
hopefully that it is. Hopefully it does. And hopefully that inspiration is just like a hair more pronounced than the fucking escape. Because the escape takes you further away from whatever you could potentially realize, right? And that's far more rewarding than the escape, or than the separation from
the escape
whatever reality.
It's therapeutic.
Otherwise, it might as well just be a drug.
Yeah, I mean, addiction comes in many forms.
Exactly.
Regardless of what it is, it has to be an outlet and not an answer.
Yeah. Exactly.
I would, and this is the drug thing. Actually, goes with what I was thinking, because there's the woman in this has powers as well, and she keeps telling him, just be Captain Kidd all the time, just do it all the time, and I'm thinking at some point, maybe in the future, she's going to realize that, like, you can't just be Captain Kidd all the time. Like, she's been her character. I'm thinking maybe she might be even older than he is, and she's just like, the only thing keeping her alive is being that character, and she's like deteriorating her own health. Maybe.
Fuck yeah.
So like maybe that's why, like, he's
burnout.
Yeah, like you're burning yourself out on these fucking powers. So
I feel like there's. I'm sorry for cutting out.
Look at.
I feel like there's some meaning though when they're both holding up that bridge, and he starts to say, "Oh, you again." Like I haven't introduced myself. I'm Captain Kidd, and then she said, "Your name is Chris, whatever it is." Like,
yeah.
It's so. I don't feel like that's a meaningless line in there. Like there's probably some more three-dimensionality to
separation.
To that. Yeah, that she has in the way she sees things. Also, I'm not quite sure what that is yet.
Yeah.
Just saying that I have a feeling that means something in that abstract way that you're touching on.
Yeah. And in fact, as you were saying that, I just realized, because at the end of it, she says something that's real crazy. She says, he asks, how much time's left, and she says, we only have until 1986.
Yeah.
So, is there some kind of thing that, like, she's been in her powers for such a long time that she doesn't even know what fucking year it is, or something like that? Like, where she's massive, she's crazy. Like, she might be crazy.
Well, she's
Probably
female.
senile.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. She might be. Yeah.
Wait,
I
is the
guess.
book supposed to take place prior to 1986?
No, it's like now.
That guy has a cell phone.
Contemporary.
Yeah,
There's a guy
She
with a
doesn't
cell
even.
phone.
She's completely lost touch.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm thinking maybe that might be a result of her using the powers all the time, and.
Man, I really dig this, and this is an Aftershock book too.
Oh yeah.
Fucking keep it up, Aftershock!
They're doing
Jesus Christ,
great
just
shit.
dropping bombs on
Great
us,
shit.
like fucking killer,
Yeah.
man.
I actually didn't think this hard. That's why I liked it in the podcast. I didn't think that hard about this book until we all started talking about it, and then we start to peel back these like layers and potential ideas in the books, and yeah, I think that we got some place with this.
Yeah, this is like probably the most stand-up book of the ones
Of
we
this-
covered today.
yeah,
Kind of
this
wish I
episode.
got to read that one.
You can read it. We got it right here.
Might be better. To
Man,
read
I love
it
my
now.
dog, but that one I relate
yeah.
to.
Did you not say the artist and everything?
Oh right. Yeah. Actually,
Pass that back.
Brian, you want to say?
Or you can say it.
Yeah, just say the artist.
Who are the artists in the?
Damn, he's better at this than we are.
Coach should be here all the time.
Mark Wade and Tom Pierre.
Oh right, it's a Mark Waid book. okay.
Artists are Wilfredo Torres and colorist Kelly Fitzpatrick.
Nice.
And A Larger World for letterer.
That's enough. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's yeah. We always.
Once the print
forget
gets
to-
smaller, then you just.
Once I really have to strain to read it without my glasses.
So yeah, Captain Kidd. I think we would all recommend it. It was.
I liked it.
Make you know,
It reminds me of Shazam. And my
Well, that's- yeah,
time
exactly.
with comics is awfully dated.
Yeah.
But
See,
it really does
reverse-
remind me of
reverse
Shazam.
Shazam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's I'm really happy that we rounded this podcast out with Captain Kidd,
Yeah.
because that's incredible, and I feel like a lot of us. Well, I mean, I've known Brian for
Ever.
the larger part of my life at this point.
Before the
Forever is a
trapeze
really long
episode.
time.
Before the trapeze,
Long enough for me to still respect you afterwards.
long enough for you to respect me more afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I'm surprised you didn't knock out the Ruski.
Yeah.
You know, I commend your growth and development as an adult. I really do.
Well, I appreciate that.
I do know attorneys if you need any. I mean, I'm glad you don't.
Unless they're marriage attorneys, I don't think I'll need them.
I can help you with one there from college. So I don't know if he's still practicing. But
You married Joe when you were over there, didn't you?
I don't know if it's legal.
civil
in
union.
Washington.
Civil union.
That's fair.
Does Taiwan have civil unions? Thailand have civil unions?
I don't know if Thailand does, but they certainly accept it.
Well, they have a lot of crazy.
They're
shit
an
over
open
there.
society.
Yeah, it's pretty open. Actually,
Lady
it's-
boys and all that. Hey,
yeah, in the
whatever.
most backwards, in the places where I feel like homosexuals would be maybe lynched or beaten or at least like accosted in some way, like
Well, we are-
aggressed
At least.
upon.
You said least.
At least.
Oh, at least accosted.
At least.
So less
accosted or
tolerant.
Much less tolerant. There would be
Than
women
the 900
and men
block of Liberty
walking
Avenue.
around this. No. I'm talking like this would be the equivalent of like rural Nebraska.
Wow.
Like there are women and men walking down the street, hand in hand, affectionate, and nobody bats an eye. And I was like, this, not the rest of this, but this is a sign of progress. Like, you, my friends, are at least progressive. in
You're
this
really
sense.
blazing a trail here.
They're blazing a certain trail. There are a bunch of divergent trails that are not as progressive, but when it comes to sexuality and the expression of love, they are doors wide open. And
With arms wide open.
oh fuck! It all comes back to Creed. God damn
That's
it!
a callback.
That would be as the back of Boogerman says. 2 thumbs up to the knuckle. From directly off the back of the box.
I'm going to call it right there. That's a perfect
Yeah.
place to stop.
Fuck yeah! 2 thumbs up to the knuckle.
2 thumbs up to the knuckle. So, thanks,
Been there, done that.
thanks for listening.
Yeah.
For those of us who are still here, Greg, would you want to say for those of us who are still?
For those of us who are still here.
Yeah. So that we are grown-up human comic people. You can find us on iTunes, YouTube, Player FM, Facebook, Tumblr at Grownup Human Comic People, and Instagram and Twitter at Grownup Humans. And
our main motherfuckers right here.
Find you guys at.
Yeah, the best way to find us is going to be at facebook.com/Pittsburgh Retro Gaming. And all of our links for our Twitter and our Instagram can be found there as well.
Cool.
It's all going to maintain the same theme of Pittsburgh Retro Gaming. And we have the public page and the closed group, which you can also find through the same link. And if you're super nerdy and into video games and you like to hoard these plastic pieces of history, look us up. Because we are more than happy to have you as part of our ranks.
And when is your event?
September 17th at the Elks Lodge on the north side. The address is going to be 400 Cedar Avenue, Pittsburgh, PA, 15212. Early admission is already sold out. So now what's left is the $5 general admission, which makes you eligible for all preceding giveaways. And the online giveaway, if you buy your tickets online, which you can find the online link through that.
It's a complete in-box Sega Genesis.
Sega Genesis.
That's fucking awesome.
Nice.
Complete in-box, minty, like
Jesus
unplayed,
That's
like
awesome.
the like virginal pins on the console.
I'm not sure if I would even want that. Like, I'd feel bad about plugging it in. I'd be like, fuck, guys.
So you're saying you wouldn't?
Taking it.
No, I might put it on a shelf, honestly.
Yeah, it's definitely a shelf piece.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you win it and you want to play it, absolutely.
That's-
Guess
yeah,
what?
it's
You
up to
won't
you.
have to clean your games.
If you're a fucking goddamn heathen, you don't want what the thing.
No, you should
valuable
play.
things
I feel
are.
like you should play it like twice a year on yours and Jesus' birthday.
That's fair.
Or
Christmas.
whatever God you offer offerings to.
I have
on
a
his
box-
birthday or her birthday and your birthday.
Jesus doesn't
I
have birthday,
have a
that's
box
ridiculous.
Sega Genesis on my wall, and it's nicer than the one that I have on my wall right now.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so
Well, thanks for coming, guys. This is
yeah.
fucking rad.
Thanks for having us.
I mean, long time in the making. And,
Absolutely.
Really, really grateful to have you.
I hope we
on
can do
today.
it again. This is fantastic. I
Thanks.
love all of this. This is great.
So
Thank you.
Everybody say your names one more time from my left.
Chris.
Jer.
Greg.
Colt 45.
Brian Wiz.
Yeah.
Lou.
The Daniel.
Oh, that's my thing. You don't get to do that.
Fuck.
God damn it. Anyway. I'm
Say
Jared.
it again,
Say something else.
but better.
Happier and
Daniel.
with your mouth open.
Fuck. I'm Daniel, for Christ's sakes.
Okay. That's better.
And who are you, Jared? I don't think he's.
I'm Jared, and that was Grown Up Human Comic People. Good night!
Grown up human